Hi everyone, my name's Jeff Dean and I'm Math Dad. I'm here to help you help your kids understand math. Today I'm talking to you about real world problem solving. A lot of times kids are wondering, where in the world do I use math? But as a parent, I can help them answer that question by keeping my eyes open for situations that can start a mathy type of a conversation or can be something where I can ask them questions so they can see how math can actually help us solve problems in the real world. So here's what happened to me. A couple of days ago, I was sitting in my living room and I noticed that the propane truck came to fill up my propane tank. So after a couple of minutes, I noticed that he drove away and I thought, it usually takes him quite a bit longer to fill up the tank. Maybe he didn't fill it up. So I walked out to the propane tank to see if the bill was on it, because that would have told me that he had filled it up, and there was no bill. So I opened the lid and I kind of cleaned up the indicator dial, and it showed me that I had about 40% left in the tank. It got me thinking, what a great opportunity to talk about math. There's all kinds of questions that I thought about. And the biggest one was, how long do I have before this tank is empty? Because he didn't fill it up. Do I need to make a phone call? Am I going to be out of propane gas tomorrow and all of a sudden no heat? So I started to think about, how could I figure out how long I have before I'm empty? And it's a great conversation we can have with our kids. You could ask them things like, what's the least amount of information we actually need to get an estimation of how long we have? Because what makes this problem real world is there's not really an exact answer. If a problem like this showed up in a math textbook, it would be something like, a propane tank has 200 gallons. The house uses 10 gallons per day. How many days before the tank is empty? The problem with that textbook problem is no one actually uses exactly 10 gallons every single day. Some days you use more, some days you use less. So you have to use problem solving and estimation to get an understanding or an estimation of when it might be empty. So I thought about, if I knew how much gas was in the tank, is that enough information to tell me how long before it's empty? What if I knew that I use 25 gallons a day on average? Is that enough information to know when the tank will be empty? Or do I need more information? What if I knew that the last time the tank was at 100% was 14 days ago? Is that enough information to figure out whether or not my tank's going to be empty soon and I need to make a phone call and maybe get them back here a little quicker? Those are the types of conversations we can have with our kids. Sit down and start working some things out, having some conversations. It doesn't even require pencil and paper, just a conversation. Because when our kids start to see math is in the real world, we help them maybe stop asking that question, when does anybody use this? And they start to see that the things that they're learning can help them to be part of this world that we're in. Because there's a lot of things that can be solved using math and using what we know. I'd love to see what your thoughts are on what's the least amount of information you would actually need to figure out a good estimation of how long it might take my tank to be empty. I'm Jeff Dean, and I'm Math Dad.